Get off my lawn!
This kid's crying. Do something.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy, the Mutt Man. I'm finally live. I haven't been live in a long time. Mostly I've just been hanging out with the Breaking Rad crew over at Breaking Rad. But tonight we're doing a special presentation because I wanted my new friend, Nick Welch, to be able to come on and talk about his awesome new project called Samurex.
Yeah, so I am a graphic designer, art director by day. I also color red koi over at Alterna, over there with Tyler Wentland.
Cool.
And so I'm working on bringing out my book Samurex, which is it's about a cyborg bounty hunter in futuristic outer space.
Yeah, that sounds cool, man. That sounds cool. Can you remember your first comic book experience? Maybe something you bought with your own money when you were younger, or were you older when you got started with comics? How far back does your appreciation of comic books go?
Yeah, so I remember there was comic books around at my grandparents' house, although they were mostly like Disney stuff and stuff like that, comic strip type stuff. Right. But I distinctly remember going in a newsstand with my mom before we went on vacation, and she got a couple of magazines for my older brother, and I could pick out things to read in the car.
Yeah.
And I remember buying a Spider-Man comic in that newsstand, and I have it here somewhere. I haven't got it back up on the wall, but
wow.
The original copy I have is like trash, but I bought a good quality one.
Nice.
It's like Todd McFarlane Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not fall in love with that?
Right. Okay. So you came in kind of in the 90s when McFarlane, was it late 80s or 90s?
I want to say it was like 89 or 90, 88 in there somewhere.
McFarlane's run on Amazing Spider-Man or the
it would have been it was Amazing Spider-Man before the just the other one launched.
Okay.
What is that? Just Spider-Man, right?
Just Spider-Man, yeah. That was his own title. They kind of gave it to him because he wanted to go a little darker, and so they let him do that. But that's awesome, dude. I mean, that was definitely around the time when my love affair for comics was raging. I had a small shop open up. Before I had a small shop open up in my town where I grew up, there was a little spinner rack at the local drugstore, and I would go and raid all of those 90s comic lords like McFarlane, Jim Lee, Liefeld. That whole time period was right in my alley. So I definitely get that. Let's go to the books. The Samurex page is right here. This is Unleashing Havoc Entertainment. It's unleashinghavoc.com. It's Nick's website. He is a designer, like he said, so his ability to put together a beautiful website is pretty obvious. He's got awesome graphics, really cool icons. Guys, this is sort of like this is a how-to on what you want to do with your portfolio site. It's beautiful. It's easy to navigate, and I think this is going to really work well for him. Under books, he's got his Samurex right here. And again, just a great feature page, landing page for the comic. It's got the synopsis right here. I'll go ahead and read that. Here's the synopsis for Samurex. It's a bounty hunting android with very little knowledge of his origins. He fights against countless nefarious adversaries while exacting revenge against his mentor's killers. Across the overpopulated system of Ortus, techno-organic monsters and computer-based intelligence hide in every corner. Will Samurex choose cold revenge over doing what's right? So that's a great story element, a cool hook. You can join the mailing list right here. I suggest you get on that. This is going to launch September the 29th, I believe. And I'm pretty sure he's going to do it on Indiegogo. Yep, coming soon to Indiegogo. So you want to click this mailing list. I'm pretty sure I already did. And you want to follow along on what Nick is doing and when this is going to launch. Like he said, he's the colorist on Red Koi for Alterna. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Red Koi, but it looks like a really beautiful book, well designed. You can see Nick's ability and talent on that. Oh, look here, Christian husband, father. I like that. That's always great. Always want to promote the Christian guys. Really digging the colors. I mean, he's got a color palette that is very intentional. This is the background. No, it's not. I like the all-seeing eye thing. It almost looks like Sauron as a mechanical, computer Sauron. That looks really cool. Hunter the Hammer. Who are the characters? How do they fit together? Find out more when you sign up for the mailing list. Okay. Well, signing up for the mailing list will get you a little bit of knowledge about his characters and his comics. So that's pretty awesome. Oh, look here. Here's homie at the Pizza Hut. I like that. That used to be my place to go when I was younger. Here's some nice black and white splash page, looks like. Sweet. Nick's got a good ability on guns. I like the guns. The chains are cool. A lot of detail work. A lot of good heavy inks. It's very based, I would say. Has kind of a beautiful background with the black.
Samurex is a bounty hunter from an old clan, but he's been kind of adopted by a famous bounty hunter, and at the point where he finds him, he doesn't know who he is or who made him, and so but he is built to be a warrior, and so he gets trained to be a bounty hunter, but then his mentor is killed, and so the story kind of opens up, and he's headed to confront his mentor's killer and bring him to justice.
Okay, right on, man. I really like it. I like the design of the character. I like the face mask. It's kind of like his head kind of pops up, and is he mostly robotic?
So he's wearing a suit, and it's kind of like it's a helmet, but it's a really futuristic. It's drawn like really it's just a mask.
Yeah,
but yeah.
cool.
So he's part man, part machine. He's like engineered biological. So this is not complete cover, but this is just kind of working cover right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna switch out this character drawing is a little bit old, but I just kind of tossed it on there. But then these are mostly work in 2-page spreads. Not all of them are spreads, but this is the first 2 pages, kind of a flashback sort of scene.
Okay.
Of the mentor and him.
So this is a space. This is also space opera. I see spaceships and interplanetary travel, things like that.
Yeah, it's very, kind of Mandalorian-esque, for sure, with a lot of this kind of cyberpunk stuff.
Cool.
Even though it's wouldn't really qualify as a cyberpunk book, but and then so this is the second set of pages, kind of jump into the present. It's coming out of hyperspace and headed towards this planet.
What can you go back to that previous page?
Yeah.
When I see the sort of like the cool digital artifact on the left hand side there, the white, that makes me wonder if you're going to letter that in a particular style. Do you have sort of a lettering idea, or is that just there because it looks cool?
Well, to a certain extent, it's because it looks cool, because I like it.
Yeah.
I like the effect it gives. But yeah, like there will be lettering happening over top of this that I'm still fussing with.
Yeah.
So getting that look, that's the one part. I'm almost done. I have like 2 pages left, like one spread left to finish, and
Oh, wow.
otherwise the comic story of the book is done outside of lettering. So
Okay.
when
Great.
we
So,
launch it, it'll be basically done. I might have stuff I'm tweaking up, but by the time the campaign's over, it'll be ready to go straight to press.
are you thinking a 2-month campaign?
I don't know. Right now, I'm aiming towards 1 month, but we'll kind of see how it goes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, most people on Indiegogo will do that 30 and 30, so that makes a lot of
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah.
So what does the name Samurex mean?
You know, um, so there's going to be a little thing that you're going to see when you read the book, and it's kind of silly how he gets his name. But as far as where I came up with the idea for the name, I don't know. Just one night, I was just like, I don't remember. Like all of these things collided in my brain all at once, and I'm like, I'm gonna make a robot bounty hunter book, and it's gonna be called Samurex. And so
Yeah.
and originally it was like a samurai robot bounty hunter
Yeah.
Samurex. I
Yeah.
don't
I mean, I like it. I like the name. It sounds cool to me.
know. So yeah, I mean, really, it sounded neat. It sounded like a robot
Yeah.
with
It
the
makes a cool logo too. Like the name itself makes a cool
yeah.
title for a book.
And then yeah, how he kind of gets his name in the book itself is uh is interesting. I'm not going to reveal that yet, but
Okay. All right. Are you the sole creative person on this project?
I am
100%. That's great.
100%. Yeah. And then
Ever thought about pulling in somebody else to help, or did you want to be a lone wolf on this particular one?
well, I always dreamt of being a lone wolf to a certain extent. I wanted to just be like just make the whole thing myself. It's
Yeah.
possible now, after this book gets made, maybe I'll pull somebody in to do lettering once I have it kind of nailed down, stuff
Okay.
like that. But I mean, the visuals are very organic when they come together.
Yeah.
Um, I sketch things out or whatever, but then like I get stuff on the digital page and start moving it around and
Yeah.
to get the compositions I want.
Yeah. So you like having a lot of control. You like
Yeah.
relying on your own skills and abilities. That's one advantage too, definitely, of being an art director, is having the ability to, you know, run all those Adobe programs yourself.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you run Adobe programs.
Well, at this point I'm doing almost all of this in Clip Studio.
Oh,
Actually.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. How
I
are you finding that? How are you finding that as far as user friendliness?
I I've grown to love it way more than trying to illustrate in Photoshop.
Okay, right on.
Um yeah, and it's a lot lighter running program. And yeah, I mean a lot of even the illustration I do a lot of illustration stuff during the day at the day job for like a zoo. I draw a lot of giraffes.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, I do almost all of that stuff in Clip Studio.
That sounds like a fun gig, man. Getting to work
It
at the zoo.
it is a cool gig, and there was a point in time where I was like all like grumpy about it, like oh I gotta draw, and then one day it was like I don't know January, and there was a water main break, and it didn't affect us, but I realized that I live in Pennsylvania, and it's like 10 degrees, and there's guys like 4 feet underground like
Ah,
fixing broken water mains, and I'm like,
oh, yeah.
so I draw giraffes, and these other guys, praise the Lord for them. So thankful for guys that
Yeah.
dig a hole and climb in it and fix broken water mains in the middle of January. So
Wow.
my attitude kind
Absolutely.
of changed
That's
around.
that's a great perspective, man, because I think that a lot of people that kind of wound up with jobs like you've got probably do take it for granted, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But if you've been out there in digging the ditches, cutting the trees, doing work with your hands, you really appreciate it when you get to sit in that office in the middle of the winter time.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah.
at the
Okay.
moment I work from home like
Oh wow.
99% of the time.
You got it made in the shade,
I
dude.
do. I mean, I do have an office. I go in sometimes. I'll go in for meetings and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
Well,
am.
soak it up and enjoy it. That's all I can say about that. Soak it up and enjoy it. Make that
Yeah.
comic. That's fantastic.
Yep.
So, other main characters besides Samurex, who else should we know about going into the book?
So there's Samurex. I'm kind of missing a page here in this document. So Samurex, there's this minor character, but she'll come back in future issues. But she there's a lot of things happen politically. So the guy responsible for killing his mentor is this guy.
Okay.
And he's like a famous bounty hunter too, that at this point is just gone off the grid,
Right.
and kind of bigger than life, can't be reined in. Everybody knows he did the thing and nobody's going to do anything about it. And so Samurex, he doesn't care about any of that. So this character here, Vakara, writes the contract for him to bring him in for the murder.
Okay.
And so, there's kind of a conversation happening here about whether, theoretically he can bring him in dead or alive, but
Okay.
what's that say if he intentionally brings him in dead? You know what I mean? So
Very cool.
Is he gonna seek revenge, or is he gonna seek justice?
Yeah. Okay.
So
Now
then
that's starting to illuminate the synopsis a little better for me. Then that's great.
yeah. So then so that's kind of running through, and there'll be, and that's kind of what kicks off on these first couple of pages. This narration here of his mentor talking is gonna focus on the idea of uh, him being a part of a clan that believes in honor and in
Yeah.
and has a code, and
Yeah.
they're not just assassins.
Okay. I do love your color palette. It's just it's got that 80s punk feel to it, but it's also it's kind of mixed a little bit almost with like a Star Wars feel. It feels like sort of feels like sci-fi punk mixed with a little bit of Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would say that that was my intention, but like it's very, by the seat of my pants, turning
Yeah,
it
that's
into
cool.
what just clicks kind of thing.
Okay. Right
But
on.
yeah, so these skeleton guys are like oh my gosh, my computer is freaking out. Yeah, these skeletons are like created by the bad guy Hardick, and they call him the
Okay.
Hammer. This guy back here
Yeah.
on this other page. And so like
Yeah.
he's created like an entire like race of droids that help him catch bounties and do whatever. And so Samurex has got to kind of fight through them to get to him. But
Yeah, so lots of cool minions to destroy, lots of good action scenes to draw. That's what I'm picking up.
yeah, and they're a lot of fun. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, so you saw
Yeah.
the drone birds,
Yeah.
and then this guy here is his mentor.
Right. Okay.
So this is the next page after and the next two pages after these two.
Okay. Right on.
And you're gonna have to talk about this guy, and then talking about who Dex Corvus is. And he's kind of like a legendary bounty hunter from a legendary line of bounty hunters. But after 1,000 years, that leads to having a lot of enemies. So
Yeah.
slowly the story unfolds, and you start to find out that even though the Hammer got caught red-handed killing him, it goes a lot farther up than just him, as far as why Dax Corvus ended up being killed.
Right. Okay.
And so Samurex, continuing the story into the future, like that's what he's facing, this, kind of corrupt level of individuals and stuff.
If you could give us like an overall theme, like some people do that, some people don't, but like, do you have an overall theme that you want to portray with your story?
So I would say with this story would definitely be, I would say justice over revenge is really kind of where
Yeah.
it's at. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
With this particular story. But then a lot of it becomes too, because as the story continues, you'll find that, Samurex doesn't really know who built him or why,
Okay.
who made him. And
Oh,
so,
so you got a little, there's some mystery plenty of mystery left to explore and open up.
yeah. So that's what he's going to be going further into the story in the future. Like he's going to be trying to find out, who he is. And then, so it'll be about finding identity. It'll be about, and even then, when you do find out who you were supposed to be, that doesn't mean that's really who you are. Kind of
Right.
will be the theme going forward. But, he'll fight lots of beasts and monsters and robots and stuff like that. And
That sounds like right up my alley. What are your overall goals for this character, this IP? You want to go like 12 issues? You want to go 3 issues? You want like how far do you want to go with it, or what's your plans with it?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I want to keep making it for a while until it kind of ends, I guess.
Is it one of those things where you're going to make it regardless of what the backer support looks like, or is the backer support going to determine how far it can go?
No, I'll probably keep making it.
Yeah.
And so here, this is a special reveal. No one's seen this yet.
Oh, cool.
For the show. So here on the left, this is Samurex by Tyler Wentland.
Oh, nice.
So this is going to be a trading card on the campaign. Everybody who backs the book will, at least backs the physical tier, will get this trading card.
Every backer gets a trading card.
Yes. Every backer will get this trading card. But then
that's awesome, man. Great reveal.
It's going to be like actual. So we're going to do like little trading card packs and stuff too. So how many cards get in there will probably depend a little bit on how things go backer wise. But as you kind of go up in tiers, you'll get more of these cards.
And this is your partner on Red Koi?
Correct.
That drew this?
Yeah. Yep. So Tyler, he writes and draws Red Koi. So
yeah,
he does all of the black and white art and writes that book, and then I do colors.
I want to say hi to E. Ortiz in the chat. Thank you for joining. It's been a minute, buddy. Good to see you in the chat. And he says that adding a Macho Dan virtual high five tier would be dope. You know what? That would be dope. It's probably never going to happen because I have begged and begged him to do the high five tier for years. You just got to put pressure on him, man. Tag him on Twitter or X or whatever you call it, and put the squeeze on him. He needs to do that. I think that's one of the funniest tiers I've ever heard of, and I would like for him to get that done. So then you're going to go as far as you can go with this until it's just not interesting to you anymore. You're just going to let your creative forces just fly all over the place with Samurex and just have fun. Monsters, creatures, pulling up old historical things about his maker, digging into his origin. Like there's lots of fun places that you could go with this. And obviously is the world connected to our world at all? What kind of universe is it?
No, it's a completely separate made up place, like, just like Star Wars,
Yeah.
But it will start to delve into the origins of the universe, so to speak,
Yeah.
And originally was like, 12 worlds that all kind of came to traveling across space at the same time. And it's gonna be neat. I've got some cool ideas. It's gonna get really, it's it's gonna get some more fantasy into it more than just science fiction. So
Well, it's cool that Samurex uses a sword. There's obviously guns and lasers and spaceships and stuff like that, but it's cool that he's using a sword. I like that.
yeah, I mean, again, I mean Star Wars and the lightsaber, the idea of
Yeah,
the the sword and being able to fight adversaries
yeah,
that even though they're using guns and stuff is just, I don't know, it's neat to me.
yeah.
So
Well, it definitely is. In closing, as we're kind of wrapping up, is Red Koi an ongoing thing for you too? Is that something you're also working on still?
yeah, so still coloring red koi. Tyler right now is doing like a couple issues a year because
Okay.
he's got a day job too.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Like
But
we
yeah,
all do, man.
that's gonna be the only thing I think at this point, other than Samurex, I'll be working on. I'm gonna keep
Okay.
coloring that because just we just have a really good time together. We have a lot. Tyler and I have a really great synergy, and he's just a really good dude.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stick with. I keep joking that we're gonna do 100 issues of Red Koi, but I totally made that up. Like I don't know what his intentions are, but
Hey, man, you never know. Might as well dream big, right?
yeah, I think we got issue number 8 coming. I think
Oh,
he's
that's
working on
great.
right
8
now. So
issues.
yeah, yep.
And
And it,
Alterna, things with Alterna, you like working for that publisher that's doing pretty good?
yeah, no, and I mean, so theoretically, I work for Tyler, not Alterna.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't. I've been on some streams here and there with those guys, and yeah, they're all cool.
Okay.
So
Okay, great. You want to give like a final promotion? Anything that you haven't said yet that you want to throw in before we end the stream?
yeah, so I mean, I guess the one thing I didn't point out, but this is gonna be like heavy metal or 2000 AD sized. It's not traditional comic size. It's
Oh,
like magazine
cool.
size.
That's awesome.
So I don't know. I just really love. I've been buying up old stuff like
Yeah.
old heavy metal and stuff. 1984. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's just another
No, not really. No.
it's just another um anthology book
Okay.
like heavy metal or whatever
Yeah.
from the late 70s, early 80s, and like I just find stuff on eBay and buy it. And so yeah, it's a lot of fun. And then I'm actually, the other thing I'm going to be doing, like, so I'm going to make this kind of like one of those magazines, and I'm actually going to be doing like advertisements that are going to
Oh,
go in
cool.
it, but
Oh,
the
yeah.
advertisements will be like in universe. So it'll be like, like whatever's at the, the VR movie theater, but have like a flair of like, old school kind of
Yeah. That's a great idea. I
advertisements
like
and
that
stuff.
idea.
So
Very creative, and be right up your alley too. Since you work in an advertising field, I'm sure you'll be able to knock that out of the park. That's great. Good idea.
yeah, so that'll be fun, and it'll also help world build some stuff as well, so that you don't have to stop and explain everybody technology or whatever as things go. So
ERT says I'm too young to remember things like 1984. I appreciate that. ERTs, I'm definitely too young for that. No question. I'm still in my prime. So you always keep that in mind, buddy.
yeah, that's why you got to find this stuff on eBay and buy it, because super cool stuff.
Yeah. Well, they're not making anything like that anymore either. They're never going to make an anthology magazine like that ever again.
Yeah,
The closest you'll get is some kind of digital, website type thing, but you'll never have it on paper like that again. So, it's only going to go up in value, especially if it's in great shape. And I can see that stuff really getting popular again for back issues.
and I have this other one too. This again, it's like a magazine sized graphic novel from, it's like DC in the early 90s,
Oh
and
yeah.
just super super cool stuff by one of the artists that is in some of those, in like the 1984 magazine and stuff, and just
Okay.
watercolor space Actually, I could.
You should definitely share that stuff on socials, man. Like you should take some pics of that stuff and
Like you can't find this thing. Like
Look
I
at that.
found one on eBay,
Oh wow,
and you can
that's
see,
gorgeous.
Yeah, so I mean, you're going to see a lot of influence on what I'm doing with Samurex.
Look at that, buddy.
But
That is
like,
really cool.
Just gorgeous book.
Let me see how I do that. There we go. Oh yeah, check that out. That is fantastic.
Yeah, and like
Very trippy.
I don't know if
Awesome.
you can. Yeah, it is very trippy. I don't know if you can even get a sense for the colors, but the colors are just.
It looks like it looks
gorgeous.
like strong but muted. Maybe is how I describe it, like painterly.
Yeah, I think the whole thing is watercolor painted.
That's
But
amazing.
like,
Can I see the cover again?
Yeah, covers called Space Clusters.
That's cool, man. Very cool.
Art by Alex Nino.
Yeah.
Super cool stuff.
All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up. I got some family coming to the house, so I gotta end it. But it was really great talking to you. Let me get us back here in just a second. Here we go. Great talking to you. Nice to finally meet you. We've been talking on X for a little bit, but it's nice to finally meet you and get to see your work and stuff like that. I think Samurex is going to do really well. So I'll be watching it and I'll be promoting it. I'm going to help you promote it.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you having me on. Yeah, this was cool.
Yeah. Am I your first stream for promotion?
You are.
Wow. Look at me.
More lined up, but
yeah, that's 29th
great. On Indiegogo. And right now I'm just collecting, just join the mailing list on the website there on unleashinghavoc.com.
I put it in the description. The link is in the description. I put the link in the chat also. So click on that, get signed up, and go back Samurex. And hey, man, have a good rest of the day. And everybody out there, have a good rest of the day. We'll see you later.
Peace.
You guys should definitely watch Breaking Rad Tuesdays at 9:30. Just look up Breaking Rad on YouTube, and you'll see my beautiful mug, and you'll see some other boomers who like to talk about funny things from Christian culture, from the comic book culture, and pop culture.